And as I did promise you, Erik Kruger with me here in the studio. Yes, sir, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you with me here in the studio now. Full potential through high performance. That's kind of like what I would like to add around you today. But let's start off with a Better Man movement. How did it all become kind of like a reality?
So 2015, right? That's when it kicked off. And really up until that point, I was kind of looking for my thing. You know, I was trying different websites and registering domains, just trying to see what was... So I before that, I graduated as a physio. And so I thought, well, this isn't for me, so what is for me? And I went on this journey of exploring and trying different things. And eventually I thought, you know, let me just do what comes naturally to me. And that has always been self-development. So I started sharing my journey of self-development, and that turned into a community that was following it, and that became Better Man. And over time, we grew to about 17,000 daily emails that went out, a community on Facebook of about 18,000 men. We did events, and from that, really, I grew into coaching, and I grew into speaking, and the book came as a result of that. So it's a chapter that's now been closed in my life, but for about 3 years or so, it was a really big and important part of my life.
What do you mean that you've kind of like closed that? What was the reason? It's just because you evolved into something else?
Yeah, you know, I'm always, I'm all about evolution. And so I feel like you need to know when to start a new chapter and when to end a new chapter. And often we drag something on for too long just because we feel invested in it. And at that time, my life had just become... very different. My focus was just very different, and I felt like I wasn't contributing what I should be contributing to the Better Man community. So I felt like I was doing them a disservice, and it was actually better for me to start focusing on the coaching and on the speaking, and kind of leave it behind for now. And obviously, like a lot of those guys are still part of my community, the larger community. But yeah, it was time to move on.
Where are you now?
So currently, like we were just saying before, I've just finished my master's degree in business and executive coaching.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Finished in inverted commas. The thesis is in. We're waiting for the feedback. And I spend most of my time either working with executives and entrepreneurs in a coaching setup one-on-one, or on stage speaking in organizations or at conferences.
And when it comes to one-on-one, was that a kind of like a little bit scary in the beginning, or did you fit in beautifully?
No, very much. So one of the best parts about Better Man, it was just, like the guys just pushed me out of my comfort zone. So they said, let's do events. They said, can we do coaching? And initially I tried coaching. I kind of hated it, and I would sort of jump into and out of it the whole time. And then eventually I just got to the point where things started clicking for me, and I started working with kind of high-profile clients, which was a lot of fun. And from there, like I don't know, it's just it's become. It gives you so much insight. That's what I'm looking for. It gives you so much insight when you get onto stage and you want to speak about what's really happening in people's lives, and how they go about solving challenges, and what are the things that are really important to them. And you kind of get to see the pattern looking from the outside.
It's almost as if you chose correctly in the time, the period that where you are right now. The social media thing, very much out there when it comes to the media. Do you fit in, or was it in the beginning kind of like also scary for you to follow that route?
It's actually been a lot of fun. Yeah, I've never thought of it as scary at all. You know, I guess a big part of what I've always done is to try and help. You know, like you don't become a physio because you want to make a lot of money. You do it because you want to help people. And then from there, transition to Better Man, which is all about helping men. And now it's kind of transitioned to more the business sphere and saying, well, I want to help people to think better and act better in relation to their potential and to their goals. And so as a result of that, when your message is amplified, like we're doing now, I think it's just such an honor, and it's exactly what you want to be doing.
I find this book fascinating.
Thank you.
Acta Non Verba, a playbook for creating, achieving, and performing at your highest level, Erik Kruger. I mean, that's impressive in a way. Huh?
Thank you.
And do you sense that, are you only national, like South Africa, or do you fly overseas as well?
So that's aspiration.
That's where you want to go.
Hopefully I'll be doing some global gigs somewhere in the year. I haven't yet, but it's definitely on the to-do list.
Tell us about this book.
So what happened is, with Better Man, I was looking for a way to amplify my message. And so I tried Twitter, I tried Instagram, like all of it. And eventually I said, well, what if I send out a daily email that is quite short, to the point, and that has some sort of reflective value. So you can go out and do something with it in the day. And I started writing this daily email, went out to 4 people initially, myself, girlfriend, friends and family. And then over time, more people started joining. And before we knew it, I was sending out 17,000 emails.
Yeah.
And it was every single day. And what we did is 4 years later, we said, well, I've written 806 emails. Let me look at the 165 best ones, and we compile them into a book. And Acta Non Verba means actions, not words. And it's how I signed off all my emails. And so that was just sort of the very natural conclusion to that chapter. So the book almost signifies the end of that chapter and the start of a new one. And it's just been such an awesome journey.
Are you sometimes surprised with what's happening here?
Yeah, I think all the time. Like, it's probably one of the coolest things that happen when you actually latch onto what's important to other people. When you finally able to pinpoint it, and you get people to rally around it and to create a community around it. I love it, but it's an unexpected journey for sure.
And also the different ways of helping somebody. I think that must also be quite fascinating to you, in the sense of how you can explore and see what's happening.
But I think very importantly, like we live in this era where we can all impact those around us. And there's no reason for you not to. And like, if you have a platform, you should use it to do good, you know? And we all have a platform. That's actually that's the crazy thing. We all have that ability to inspire, to educate, to motivate. And I think it's kind of like, with great power comes great responsibility. I think we have to use it for good.
I know you're not going to like this, but I mean, you've been named one of the sexiest guys in South Africa, and you're on Expresso tomorrow. So it's really a world opening up at the moment for you, huh?
You know, so one of the things, I don't know if you read in the book, I talk about is accretion. And accretion is just this idea that...
Very interesting,
it's one of the sort of main points that I speak about. And it's that ultimately everything that we do accumulates. And so all the small decisions and all the small actions that you take accumulate, and they give you the life that you have. And so you can look at what your life is now and do a bit of a rewind and realize that everything you did gave you exactly what you have now. So if you want to change that, simply change what you accumulate. And we tend to think of it in the big moments, but really we need to think about the micro moments, like what is happening in the small decisions, what's happening in the small actions, those habits, those rituals, because they accumulate and they'll give you the life that you have.
The world is really your oyster.
Thank you.
I mean, it's almost as if there are no boundaries, and you can go whatever you're doing right now, wherever you want to, in that sense. And it's wonderful that you could create that for yourself, you know. That's kind of like a vision. Can you still remember when it kind of like opened up for you? You
know, I can't say that I do. What's been interesting for me in my life is that I've gone from physio to digital marketer to founder of Better Man to coach and speaker, and it's always just felt quite natural. I've always kind of gone where there's least resistance, and like it feels like your path is shown to you, and if you follow it, it's not quite as full of effort as you might expect.
Where can people get hold of you?
So easiest is erikkruger.com. That'll direct you to all my social media.
That's quite impressive, erikkruger.com.
You'll see socials there, you'll see emails, phone numbers, the works.
Erik with a K. erikkruger.com. Go and check him out. I want to thank you for coming into the studio. Enjoy your stay here in Cape Town, and enjoy your show tomorrow with Expresso. You know what time it's going to be?
My call time is at 7. So
Okay, well, then
I don't know what that means
yeah.
for being on TV.
Check out Expresso tomorrow, that on SABC3, and you will see Erik Kruger. And don't forget to go to erikkruger.com, and people can also get hold of the book then?
Yeah, you can actually get it in all exclusive books.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's okay. Here is CeeLo Green for you on 93.6.